Welcome everyone, my name is Kieran Haslam and I'm your host for this, our Christmas episode of the Princess Experience. That's why I'm in a bright red jumper and you can probably hear a few reindeer running around the factory at the moment. But it's an exciting episode as we head to the end of the year and we're going to focus in this episode on the F55. So the walkthroughs aboard the F55 will be with both Ross Gill and Gareth Sandy. We're then going to have a conversation with our head of naval architecture, Matt Wood, who's going to enlighten us a little bit about the resin infusion process. And finally, we have a very special guest in the form of our executive chairman, Anthony Sheriff, who's going to join us here in the studio right next to the Christmas tree. Throughout the Princess Experience series, we want you to get in touch with us. So there's an email on screen now where we welcome your comments, your questions, so that we can take a further look and you can sort of dictate the topics that we will explore behind the scenes here at Princess. And so now, let's head straight over to Ross aboard the F55.
Well, welcome to the F55. Here you find us on the main deck of the F55 and I'm at the helm position, as you can see. This boat has got a fully glassed bridge, which gives you, this, as you can quite clearly see, a really nice clean area to look at. You can have an option 2 16-inch screens here. We've only got one on this boat today, and there's a 7-inch which is all your Volvo displays. This boat comes with a 900 D13s. Great helm. You can, as you can see, I'm sat down, easy access to my throttles. This chair is fully adjustable, or should I want to, I can actually turn this into a bolster. That's quite a few people like to stand up when they're manoeuvring the boat. Great visibility. What I like about this boat is you have the drop window, so you can have some nice fresh air. Now if you're in a climate where it's a bit too warm to have that open, you do have your air conditioning vents either side, so you can get some natural air in there. Drinks holders there. And a nice feature is the joystick control. This is an option we do with Volvo, so it's a Volvo rudder table, and that lets the rudders work independently of each other. So you can drive this boat similar to an IPS, but it's not an IPS boat, it is on shafts. Variable speed thrusters, you can have a stern thruster as well should you want to as the option, and easy layout. Very simple, beautifully done I think. Nice little cubby hole there for your mobile phone, and should you want to drop an iPad in there, there's space to look at that as well. And of course the trusty compass. Looking out you can see that a good view. We've got the sun pads up at the moment. With them down, that increases the view even more. And moving on to the other side, we've got a drop window, again to let that natural air in. Another cubby hole. This has got a socket and some USBs in there, so you can use it for your phone chargers or your iPads, but hide them away out of sight. Now, one of the really good things when we launched this boat that we had good customer feedback was the size of this seating area. You know, for a 55, this is a huge area for friends and family to sit down with. We've got a good sized dining room table which unfolds out, and this can as an option be a high-low table which is also on a slide, so you can drop it all the way down, slide it out, so it becomes like a saloon, so it really doubles up the use of this space. On the opposite side, lovely feature, you know, nicely designed table, you know, seat. This is theoretically a 2-seater, but as you can see you can fit far more people on than that. Underneath, if I can find it, good sized drawers, there's 2 of those, one either side. Trying to make that space that is often hard to get to as easy as possible. Behind here we have the pop-up TV, so that lifts up, so it really turns into a nice lounge. And of course, those big windows. So if you're not watching TV, you've got that view. Maybe not today in King Point Marina, although the 85 is quite pretty, but if you're in your anchorage, really rather lovely. Down 2 stairs, that gives you a head height in the master cabin. I'm now stood over the engines, and I go down 1 step. Now people often ask us, why do you have a step down into the galley? That's to give us room for full height refrigeration. So that's the step up to the flybridge there, and we have to put the refrigeration underneath those. That's the space, so hence that step down. Good storage overhead, obviously under counter. We have an optional dishwasher under there should you want it, but we have little drawers under there, bin, and a cutlery is on this side. Good size locker underneath there. And then what's becoming quite a feature of Princesses now is that pop-up window, which really brings the inside outside, outside in. Turns this into a bar, turns it into a galley. But you can really see yourself entertaining being part of the whole of the family. Like trying to get away from that galley be in the middle of the boat and you're stuck out the way of all the action that's going on outside. Over on the opposite side, we have a nice sideboard unit. Underneath here we have storage for glasses as well as your bottles. You can have an optional ice maker under there. This one's got the stereo system. And then lastly you have another optional fridge on this side as well. But great, another use for a bar, but it's really nice how you got this under level lighting, just make a feature out of a utility space. Coming out onto the aft deck, we have another dining room table out here. This folds out in similar style to the one in the saloon. Good seating all the way around. Obviously the boat comes with full wraparound covers as standard. Snubbing winches on either side, and then obviously underneath where we're standing now is access to the engine room and the lazarette. Staircase up to the flybridge, and then on this side we have the option of having a third helm station. So it pops out of here. You can have the joystick we showed you at the helm, throttles, or thrusters and anchor control. Crew access is through this locker here. So you've got a single bunk down there with bathroom facilities. There's an up-down platform on this boat. We won't show it just yet because, as you can see, we have an 85 pretty much parked on there, and we'll bang our heads on those stainless steel anchors. But let's go and have a look on the foredeck. So as I come up the starboard side here, I passed over two fillers. So one's for the diesel, one's for the fresh water. We also have another diesel on the port side, so it doesn't matter which side of the fuel pontoon you go to, you can fill both sides. Although most people like to run a hose either side and fill the tanks equally. But here we are on the foredeck. I guess the key aspect of the F55 over previous boats we built is this Portuguese bridge. Having somewhere to sit down comfortably to enjoy the sun, and often what we call the breezy end of the boat, but often, as you know, when you're in a marina, the most private part. You're not looking at everyone walking down the pontoon. Really nice to sit up here on this side. Got lift up headrests. They can drop down to a degree on ratchets, so you can vary the level of your head. And then coming over onto here to the port side, good sized wing locker. In here we can pop fenders, your warps, whatever you may need, and there's also under there your waste tank pump out. Moving forward to the business end, past these good sized handrails for your guests when they're sat up on the sunbed. You'll also notice that the rails all around the boat are good size, so you feel a real purchase when you're holding on. Decent sized cleats and fairleads, and then you get your capstan, and then two lockers either side as standard. One where the chain locker goes under, the other one where you can store warps, and you've got your controls for your electric windlass. So lovely foredeck. I think stands out over previous boats we've done of this size, but of course it gets great access and visibility of the guys up on the bridge.
Thank you very much, Ross. And now, along with Bill Barrow, we're going to explore the Langage production facility.
Welcome to Langage. Today we're about 6 miles east of Plymouth at our manufacturing plant producing V, S and F class boats from 55 to 65. It's a fantastic facility. We not only mould, so we see the initial stage of manufacture, but we go all the way through to pond test and finishing a product prior to delivery down to Newport Street. So lots and lots to see. It's a fantastic unit. Let's go and have a look. Well, this is Unit 1. This is where we're manufacturing both V55 and F55, 5 of each. First set here, this is all V55 in manufacture. Further down is F55. Now all these boats are built on a rolling line. Gives us a fantastic control of the way we manufacture. These 5 boats, the end boat down here is the most finished. She'll roll out the door. Once she rolls out the door, all these boats here will slot down one position, and a new set of mouldings on a rolling carriage will come in and get landed on the tracks. We'll see those as we walk through. Very similar to car manufacture. A car may move every 2, 3, 4 minutes. Here we'll move every 12, 15 days. But it does give us a milestone of manufacture at every single stage we go through. So stage 1, it has so much work that has to be produced in that 15 days to a fantastic quality. Stage 2 is the same, stage 3 the same. Really gives us a control of all our manufacturing processes. And we've been using that style of build for around about the last, I suppose, 18 years. It sets us ahead of so many other manufacturers in the world today. Fantastic position to be in. Okay, we're now down at the final stage of assembly of the V55. She's rolled down through the 5 stages, and we're now going through detail quality. So you can see the guy behind us is buffing and polishing. You can see the detailed marking in the top sides going through. That's literally pinpointing any minor defect there may be in the gel finish. So we want to make it absolutely perfect before she goes to pond test. After this, boat will roll off the line. She'll go round to the pond. She'll spend 3 or 4 days in the water here at Langage, making sure she's perfect and ready for sea. Okay, well, we've just arrived in Unit 2. And to be quite honest, this is one of my favourite parts of the tour around Langage. It's a fantastic view of the assembly line for S and V, the 62 and the 60, and the V65 and the S66. It really gives you an idea of scale. You know, we are a big manufacturer here in Plymouth, but you know, who else, dare I say, in Europe has a lineup of boats in manufacture like that? We must have probably 14 boats online at present, all in different stages of assembly. And it certainly is part of the tour that most customers walk through the doors behind you and look at it and go, wow, there is a lot of product around here. Well, we've now reached one of the most critical stages of the assembly and production of the boat. Here we have an S66 in pond trial. She'll be afloat here for 3 to 4 days to check the electrical systems, the engines run. We've got no leaks. Fundamentally, she's perfect, ready to go to water. The next stage after this, she'll be trucked with our transport fleet down to Newport Street. She'll go afloat and she'll go to sea trial. Sea trial is really the final stage of our production process, together with an on-water quality prior to handing over to the customer. Okay, now we're in Langage 3. This is the real birth of your boat, the birth of your Princess. In here we mould hulls, we mould decks, we mould all the product that this facility actually builds. If we look around us, we have moulds, hull moulds and deck moulds and tray moulds, all in various stages of finishing. Once the mouldings are pulled from the moulds, they're over to fit out, where they're assembled in total, hulls, decks, trays, together with all the stainless steel work. So the cleats, the stem heads, the rails, everything that comes out of our Cloypool facility is fitted here, ready to go straight into the fit-out facility in Unit 1 or Unit 2. This is probably one of the best examples of vertical engineering. We are basically moulding a boat from the very birth, the very stage of a drummer resin, to a finished product, going onto the truck, going down to water. It's a fantastic facility, producing some amazing product at incredible quality. Langage it's a great facility, been around a long time, builds a fantastic range of boats, and here we look forward to building very many more into the future.
Thanks very much, Bill. And now we're going to jump straight back into the F55 with Ross.
Now, the 55 is a very important boat for us in the product range. It replaces 2 highly successful models, the 52 and the 56. And what we hope to do is show you how we've evolved the models, starting off here in the stateroom. So as you can see, we've got the amazing Big Brother windows that have become a real trait of Princess. Here you can see actually the line from the signature of the windows on the outside reflected here on the inside. Obviously an opening porthole. good storage. On this boat we have a vanity unit as well as plenty of drawers and cupboards, as you'd expect. This can be mirrored on the opposite side of the boat. You'll see on this boat actually we've got a lovely coffee area. Decent size master bed with coffee tables either side that control obviously your reading lights as well as the lights for the whole bedroom. Underneath here is your water tank. Now that's lowest point of the boat, so it keeps the stability very good. But forward of that we have some huge drawers. Now that's where we can store your laundry, more of it, I suppose the occasional stuff you may use. And as you can see on the far side, we've got a really nice coffee table, whether you want to use it as your mobile office, or as I said, as an option, we can do that as storage. Moving forward of this side, we have a full-size wardrobe, his and hers. So you've got full height hanging on one side, and then shelves, mirror, and half height hanging just here. Obviously, you have the large TV, and then we move forward into the ensuite. Lovely shower cubicle, good size sideboard for toiletries, that sort of thing, as well as a cupboard behind the mirror. Moving forward, washer dryer is stored underneath there. The other side of the bulkhead or this door here is another large storage unit, and then we move up forward into the guest accommodation. Okay, moving out of the master cabin, we come up forward into the guest area, to the guest bathroom or head. This can be used as your day head or as the guest when they're staying on board. Really nice unit there, lots of storage, as well as medicine cabinets, and of course your shower unit, which has got that lovely port light there to let lots of light in. You do have a blind, so you keep your modesty, but really good use of space. And then as you pan around into our VIP, good mirror with vanity in there, our traditional, as you know now, that the knife windows. So not only do they let light in, it's a real nice feature to be able to see out at the sea when you're underway. Overhead lockers on either side, full length wardrobe, and of course a good sized central line bed with storage underneath there, big pull out drawers to keep all those bits and bobs. TV goes on there should you want one. And then we move out and into the twin cabin. So into the twin cabin, these bunks, as you can find on many Princesses nowadays, can slide together as an option should you want to, which gives you great versatility. Double bunk, single bunk, traditional, really good window there, two opening lights, and then storage above. Two of those, so the knick-knacks. Now underneath the beds, there's pull-out drawers under these. These work whether the boat bed is together or apart, so it's a double-sided drawer. TV would go on there should you order one, and then in here, of course, your full hanging wardrobe with a mirror. And as you come out, I think, which is one of the things that's become a real nice thing about Princess, is this nice open airy foyer for the guest accommodation. You know, gone are the days where you came downstairs into the dark boat. It's now a light and airy wherever you go.
Thanks to Russ in the lower accommodation on the F55, and now we join our company naval architect, Andy Hay. Hi there, my name's Andy Hay. I'm the company naval architect at Princess Yachts. I've worked for Princess for about 15 years, and we're over here at South Yard, which is where we manufacture our new 72 and also produce the major moulds for a lot of our larger boats in the X95. Back in the day, so this is, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, the team will be taking some resin in a bucket, applying it with a roller, and then hand consolidating it. That process generally made heavy laminates, very low strength. A guy, when he's hand applying a roller, he's applying it by hand. He can vary the pressure, he can vary the consolidation that we're putting into that laminate. With a vacuum process, the whole thing's under vacuum. It's consistent across the entire surface area of the moulding, and it's applying that pressure equally, so we know what we're going to get. With a hand lay process, we're getting glass ratios of about 30%. With infusion, we can get glass contents up to 65%, maybe even 70% if we're really clever and if we're really accurate with what we're doing. So the strength of the laminates is hugely different. It's really chalk and cheese from where we were before. If I think about a hull bottom, so the very bottom of the boat, which is what's actually seeing the water pressure, we would have a hand-laid boat of about 10 millimeters thick. Nowadays, our hull bottoms are about 40 millimeters thick. So those panels are much, much stiffer than they were before. That means that the performance of the boat's going to increase because we can actually get far more hydrodynamic resistance going through, so the hulls are actually reacting, the energy is being dissipated, we get better performance. That 10 millimeter laminate, we're actually now beating that in terms of weight, so we've got much lighter weight product being built. We've actually, as a business, chosen not to really make the same boat but lighter. We've taken the opportunity of using that weight saving to actually make the boat bigger and put more equipment on. So it's difficult to really compare like for like because the product has advanced so much. But the product has advanced so much because of the infusion process, because that's allowed us to have the same size engines but bigger boats. The mouldings are lighter for a given size now. The internal volume, because we're using sandwich construction, we don't have to have so much internal stiffening, so that now gives us more volume for the interiors for the designers to explore. The infusion has been part of the journey from the products that we had 10, 15, 20 years ago to where we are now. We couldn't develop the products that we've got around us without having this technology at our disposal. Thank you very much, Andy. And to tell us a little bit more about the resin infusion process, we have in the studio with us Matt Wood. Matt, thank you very much for being here.
Pleasure, Kieran.
Matt's head of naval architecture, and Matt, just in terms of resin infusion, from a naval architect's perspective, what has this done to naval architecture, and what are sort of the considerations now from the process of, you know, taking an idea and then putting it into physical production?
I think more from a production engineering standpoint than specifically naval architecture. I think it's allowed people to dream bigger about what you can do in a one-off composite part, really,
yeah.
or a single shot composite part. You know, the idea that you would risk all those weeks of labour of putting that part together, and then you just, so, you know, the pump set, and you turn the taps on and you flood that part, and it's like, wow, that is just so ballsy, really. You know, 2 weeks work, 40 grand's worth of materials, you're going to risk it all for 2 hours of, you know, running the resin through it.
Yeah.
I think that's a real big change.
Yeah, yeah. And what are some of the new sort of technologies that are coming in terms of, can this technique be used with other materials other than resin and fiberglass? And what have we done to explore alternatives? The
infusion process is valid for all composite materials, and I think the big change we're going to see coming is the introduction of more plant-based fibres, replacing glass, and more plant-based or bio-oil-based resins as well.
Yeah.
You know, all of that stuff we use at the moment is very energy intensive to produce, or relies on petrochemicals. So
yeah.
We can't go on doing that forever, and we have to work out how we get a mix of that more sustainable product into the composite, really.
And it is an exciting time. I was at the Düsseldorf Boat Show, and went and saw there was an exhibitor who had a flax hull, and you know, the conversations around bioresins, and they're real conversations. I mean, I know.
Yeah, it's really happening. I mean,
yeah.
20 years ago we were all dreaming about it, and people were making the odd surfboard or something out of something super exotic that was never going to see the light of day in a commercial setting. But we're now at that point where I think in the next, you know, 18 months, 2 years, we're going to be trialling this stuff at scale.
Yeah.
Not full hulls and canopies, but certainly on smaller mouldings.
Yeah, yeah. Fantastic. Excellent. Well, Matt, thank you very much for being with us for this episode, and for giving us your insights into resin infusion. That was Matt Wood, who's our head of naval architecture here at Princess. We're now going to go back to Ross and Gareth, who are on the F55, to take a further look.
So here we are on the flybridge of the F55. I think you agree, quite a good space. We'll start with the wet bar. So underneath here we have of your sink and your grill. This is we now use the Kenyan grills, which are quite a versatile piece of kit. You can pop most of this in the dishwasher. So not only does it cook your food well and retain the heat, it also is easy to look after. Underneath we have plenty of storage. A bin, obviously drinks and bits and bobs underneath there. Moving forward, we have a cool box under there. It's got a refrigerated grill there, so you can keep your drinks inside cleanly. And then on this side we have, opposite the helm, a really nice little day bed area. Under here, pulls out, and you've got an infill cushion there, so it turns into a day bed, completely out of the wind. So when you're driving the boat, you could be with your crew or the family, as it were, talking with them. You might have noticed we have these lovely pop-up light lanterns, which add a bit of ambient light to the boat in the evenings. Now downstairs we saw that we have one screen. This one's got the double screens up here, or actually triple, because you've got the engine instrumentation as well, joystick, throttles, thrusters. Now I'm sat on the bolster. If you want to raise yourself up, if you're quite short like I am, or you can pop that down, which then pops you down out of the wind for those extended trips. But again, nicely well laid out helm. If I go aft, you see what is a really large seating area. I don't know how many people you could sit up here, but there's more than enough room for what it's classed for. Big dining room table on this particular boat as an owner's request. This actually goes up and down as well, so once it's down you can turn this into even more of a sun pad. This can be a smaller one like you've seen downstairs, so you can fold in on itself so it doesn't take up quite so much space. And then under here we have our life raft storage. Out the back you can put a canvas should you want to. Now obviously you can see this has got the hardtop on. This hardtop has got the opening section. Now of course you can order that with a normal bimney. Now those bimneys are standard manual, or you can have them hydraulic. So really quite a diverse range of options you can have on it. Now I hope you agree, it really is quite a special boat, the F55, and very important to us here at Princess. It's the first boat you buy in the Flybridge range that's a shaft boat. So it's an introductory to that type of boating for many of our owners, as well as being versatile and it fits in all marinas. Depending on where you boat, you can normally fit a 55 into your marina, so really key to all of our dealers around the world. And talking of our dealers, should you want any more information on this boat, please get in contact with your local dealer who will be able to give you more information on it. Thanks very much.
So here we are in the engine room of the Princess F55, and each side of me here you've got the Volvo Penta D13 900 horsepower diesel engines, outputting through traditional conventional arrangement of gearbox and propeller shafts with the Volvo electronic steering system. We've got two saddle fuel tanks each side of the engine room outboard, and combined they give a fuel capacity of 2,750 litres. Which gives the boat an optimum range somewhere between 250 to 300 nautical miles, depending on your preferred cruising speed. Everything's pretty easy to hand for maintenance down here. You've got removable hatches in the deck tread here to give you access to the freshwater pumps for maintenance. You've got underneath me here the sea cocks and sea strainers for both main engines, and bilge pump access aft. You've also got the DC panels and the AC electric panels on the aft bulkhead here, which are very easy to hand with tread plates over both couplings on the propeller shafts. Aft of the engine room space there is room for a optional gyroscopic stabilizer, which is the Seakeeper 9 we offer on the F55, and it proves very effective indeed when the boat's out at sea. You've also got the option to add an air conditioning plant in this space, which offers 78,000 BTUs of air conditioning capacity. The boat comes as standard with a 9.5 kilowatt generator, which can be upgraded to 17.5 should you go for the gyroscopic stabilizer, or in fact the air conditioning as well. What else can I tell you about the engine room? Not much else in here really to speak of. We've got the fuel filtration system here on the forward bulkhead to my left, which is the starboard side of the boat, and again on the port side for the port engine. You've also got the fire suppression system mounted here, which is fully automatic on the forward bulkhead. The boat also has a holding tank for black water to the tune of 315 litres, and the water capacity for the boat is just over 600 litres. So here we are in the crew cabin of the Princess Flybridge 55, and it's a great space down here. It's a fantastic option to go for should you want the occasional crew member to run the boat, or even a full-time captain for your 55. You've got a 1.8 metre berth here with side loading storage above and pull-out drawers underneath. There is a window behind this privacy Venetian blind here in the transom. And you've also got natural ventilation by way of an opening port light here, and also in the bathroom behind me as well. We've kept the sink in the cabin to maximise on space in the bathroom. So you've got storage under the sink here, which is aft on the transom. And then behind me here on the port side of the boat, you've got a full height shower, as you can see here, and a very spacious head forward in this compartment as well. There's plenty of access to everything you might need access to when the vessel's underway. You've got your electronic steering systems behind the hatches here in the bathroom, and then at the bottom of the stepway into the cabin on the starboard side. Bilge space underneath with its own separate bilge pump back here, and the shower of course has its own grey water sump as well. So in summary, the Princess F55 crew cabin option is really great should you want to have an occasional crew member or even a full-time captain. There's plenty of space to live down here for extended cruising, and if you don't go for the crew cabin option, this space is phenomenal. So you've got room for the dinghy, you've got room for lines, you've got room for fenders, extra tools, extra spares, whatever it may need. This space has plenty to offer.
And now one of the most highly regarded talents in the boating sphere, Christina O'Don, who has been with us for some time here at Princess, and Christina is going to take us through a boat in Monaco.
The privilege of my job is to sell dreams and make people happy. I'm Christina, and I'm so pleased to tell you that I've been working for Princess for more than 25 years. Here we are in Princess Monaco office. We are in the mecca of yachting and the hub of yachting. We've been appointed as Princess dealers and distributor in the Monaco territory, and we can offer a very good service, an excellent service, of course in sales, in after sales, in marketing strategy, in advertising, and we're doing our best to satisfy and fulfill all the customers' desires and requirements. Even, of course, in this difficult and challenging period, we are still positive, and I'm a positive person, so I'm trying also to keep my positive attitude. So I'm very confident that we will get through all these challenging moments all together. Yachting is a passion, is a style of life. We are selling emotions, very, very big emotions, and emotions help people and human beings to survive. It's very important to say that when we sell a yacht, our customer will stay with us forever. Welcome on board on this beautiful sunny day in Monaco on the Princess 85. The Princess 85 is a triumph of contemporary design. We are on the Flybridge with this big entertainment area, with a big sun pad, dining area, and a beautiful wet bar. Every Princess boat is designed with forward-thinking mentality and crafted with a very meticulous attention for detail. Here we are in the big saloon, a very nice area, full of space, full of light. We have a flexible galley and a dining area. Below deck, we have accommodation for 8 guests with a beautiful master cabin with an ensuite bathroom, a VIP forward cabin, and 1 twin and 1 double cabin. All of them, they've got ensuite bathrooms. Then there is the crew quarters, which is of course an area dedicated for the crew, with a single cabin for the captain and a double bed cabin for the crew. The quality of the finest materials on this particular boat, which is ready for prompt delivery, is excellent. A yacht can give you unforgettable moments that you share with your family and with your friends. Really a very great and unforgettable experience. You can't live without.
And now it's a real pleasure to have with us Anthony Sheriff, the chairman of Princess Yachts. Anthony, welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
Anthony, it's great because I get to talk to you very openly now, and as we approach rapidly the end of 2020, it's been a pretty extraordinary year for us in this industry as Princess, in terms of reaching really, really far into the future. What's going to be, you know, the markers that help navigate that course for you as the person, you know, with your hand on the rudder of Princess Yachts?
Well, we are going to have wheels, not rudders.
Yeah.
We're not going to go back. So I think over the last few years, Princess has really pushed ahead steadily on both the design front and as well as a technical front. Our hulls have become more efficient and even better in terms of seakeeping. We've introduced some real innovations, such as the active foiling system on the R35. We've dabbled in alternative materials, such as the carbon on the R35. The hull form of the X95 is really a huge step forward, and we're continually doing that from a technical standpoint. From a design standpoint, we really are pushing forward smartly. If you look at our boats from one boat to the next, it seems like a continuous evolution, but every now and then we pause and look at our boat line today compared to where we were 5 years ago, and it seems like a revolution. So we're moving incrementally, but incrementally at a very, very rapid pace. There has not yet been a big disruption, and we are working to think about what that big disruption might be. So one thing that we clearly need to be addressing is our footprint. We are doing a lot of things, such as making our hulls more efficient, which have a very direct impact on the footprint of our boats. They do consume less fuel. We're looking at alternative materials that are recycled. You know, one material that I found recently that's particularly relevant is there's a company making carpeting that uses reclaimed plastic from the ocean. So if we can take garbage out of the ocean and put it in a beautiful sense on our boats, that's a wonderful thing to do. But what we do need to figure out is at some point electrification is going to become relevant for boating, and we need to figure out how to make that work in a way that is not just symbolic but actually does make an impact. And you cannot take the solutions that have been used in automotive and apply them to yachting because they won't have the same impact. And so we have some clever ideas and things that we're looking at in the future that we want to develop, which will allow boats to be more economical, have less of a footprint, and also be a better place to live and live with.
And Anthony, you know, we're in a really interesting industry, a really interesting sector within this industry, where we're very, very close in proximity to our clients, to the owners of our products. You spend a great deal of time, you know, that you can go through many different sectors, and it's hard to get in touch with the chairman of the brand, you know, and to have quality interaction. I see you do that. What are you picking up from our clients today, and what can we do to make that relationship even stronger in the future?
I mean, I think that from my own personal standpoint, I'd like to speak to the customers because I want to know what's going on. I do want unfiltered information. I do not want only good information. It's nice to have. I'd like people to get angry. I'd like people to say what's not going right, so we have an opportunity to fix it. And we get a lot of people who are, you know, for me, the best calls are somebody who's saying, I've had this list of issues with my boat, what's going on? And then afterwards to say, actually, you fixed them all, and the rest of the boat is absolutely fantastic, I love it, but here's 2 or 3 suggestions for what you need to do in the future. And we do consistently listen to what our customers say and reflect. There was one boat where we were wondering what the best layout was, and it became clear that the direction we were heading, which made perfect sense to us as designers and engineers, was not actually how the customer wanted to live on that boat. It did not fit their lifestyle. It was an S boat, a sport boat, where as it got bigger and bigger, they said, I'd like it to be a little bit more formal, and I'd like the spaces to reflect that formality rather than the open air casualness which the direction you were heading. So it's invaluable feedback. Our customers are the people who use the boats far more than we do. This is, in that case, it's very different from the car industry or making iPhones or consumer products where everybody uses a telephone, everybody drives a car. not everybody has the opportunity to spend the summer on a luxury yacht.
Yeah.
Sadly, I don't either.
Yeah.
I'm too busy making them. And so we do have to avail ourselves to the comments and the feedback that are coming from the people that really do use these things every day. And every now and then I hear people in my company and other companies say, oh, these super customers, they don't know what the heck they want. Well, actually they do know what they want. They do know how they use the boat. They do know what bothers them on a day-to-day basis, and they do know what would make their life better. And the intelligent company is going to be the company that takes that into account in the design of new boats.
Yeah. And Anthony, 2020, no ordinary year.
You couldn't make it up.
Let's just get a quick recap from your perspective on 2020. We've been in a strange way, even with the all stop and the all pause in various respects, and in the way in which we've interacted with the outside world. The mere fact that we're doing this series is to be able to continue to have conversations and deliver the world of Princess to our many clients and fans around the world. You know, what from your perspective, talk to me a little bit about 2020 as we close out the year.
Right. I'm going to first of all, I'd like to thank the enthusiasm and confidence that our customers had, because actually people have realized that yachting is a wonderful way to live in this environment. And we're having a really strong commercial experience at the moment, because yachting really is a wonderful way to spend holiday in an isolated way, in a safe way, and our commercial success at the moment is experiencing that. But I'd also like to thank the resilience of our team and our suppliers and our distributors, all of the team, in taking us through this in a very decisive way without wimping out. The way I'll use a Formula One analogy, having worked for a Formula One company for 10 years at McLaren. It's a bit like we're driving around the track and we're putting in good lap times, and all of a sudden the heavens open and half the field pull to the side of the road and say, we don't know what to do. It's too wet to keep on going. We dived into the pit stop, put on our rain tires, and went back out as quickly as possible.
Yep.
We stopped the company on a dime because it wasn't safe to continue. We got our house in order. We put in place the measures necessary to go back out safely, our rain tires, and we went straight out and started production again 3 weeks after we shut down, and we were going full speed again within 2 months of when we shut down. And as a result, we've been able to deliver a lot of boats which otherwise would have been much delayed. But we're doing things in a very different way.
Yeah.
So we're keeping our foot to the pedal. I think everybody is has addressed this with great rigor in the company, and it's been, from the standpoint of a chairman, it's been just a real pleasure to see how well the team is performing. Nothing to do with me. It's everybody getting the bit between their teeth and not bottling out, saying we're going to do this and we're going to get this done. And the result is we're running at full production. We have been running at full production since June. We've been selling boats at a really strong rate. And if this continues, we have every expectation we're going to continue to be very successful.
Great. Excellent. Anthony, well, thank you. I'm going to give you a Merry Christmas elbow.
Yep.
Sign of the times.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
And that was Anthony Sheriff, our chairman, who joined us for this. Anthony, once again, thank you very much. And you're going to be joining us for more episodes in the future. We've got New Year's Eve just around the corner, and then we're well into 2021 before you know it, and we're ready.
Thanks, Kieran.
Thanks for that, Anthony. So that brings us to the end of this episode. We have one more episode this year, which will air just ahead of New Year's Eve. And from all of us here, happy holiday to all of our viewers. Thank you.